So, why bring me here?
Captain Carpenter, the arcade hero from the 80s, runs this place. He said you'd be safe in his warehouse until we figure out a plan of attack.
You were saying?
What are you doing?
Captain Carpenter might be a whiz at killing off rabid crabs and turtles, but he can't handle a gun to save his life.
I guess there's no talking you out of this.
Nope. It's, time for me to go to the warehouse.
Eat Lead, the return of Matt Hazard. Actually, no one is returning, but instead Matt Hazard is making his debut. Matt's this self-aware video game guy who, according to the storyline, has been whored out all over the place. Shooters, beat-em-ups, RPGs, kart racers, everywhere. You know, just like Mario. Well, for whatever reason that I've completely forgotten, Matt Hazard is back in this fictional world. Here's the problem though, in this brand new and great video game he's making his supposed reappearance in, he's actually supposed to die in the first level. This will kill off his fictional existence forever. So this hot chick, who's the avatar, I guess, of one of the lead programmers or artists or something, hacks into the video game and attempts to save him. This pisses off the head of the video game company, so what begins is a Gears of War clone. And that bunch of crap starts getting thrown at you, like zombies, Russian assholes, 2D wackos from Wolfenstein, anime references, and tons more. So what is this game really? It's a third-person shooter with satire about the video game industry. The game has a cover system similar to Gears of War, but there's a little less stop and pop and a lot more opportunity to go guns a-blazing. The satire is similar to the vein of Mad World and House of the Dead Overkill, but I was really impressed with the fact that they didn't rely on the cheapo crutch of dropping F-bombs every 10 seconds and exploiting the oh-so-hilarious stereotype of having a black pimp speak in Ebonics. Seriously, I've had an ass full of that since Snoop Dogg and his butt buddies, and I'm not even sure if that's supposed to be a joke. Eat Lead is actually T-rated and thus uses many clever references and some moderately decent, although admittedly not great, timing in order to be funny. However, unless you're familiar with the history of video games, don't totally expect for this to be your thing. Also, don't expect for the humor to carry this completely. Alright, instead of pretending my opinion is some sort of objective truth, it's time to address something. The majority of reviews that I have seen for this game have given it somewhere between a 4 and a 5. There wasn't exactly a Mad World style marketing push behind this one, which can probably account for a nice point or two from the average industry review, but that still does not hide the fact that this game was not seen as good in very many people's eyes. Now here, I'm going to tell you about these complaints people have against this game and then what my take on it is. Video game shooter trends are currently with Gears of War. Both of those were very nice games, and you can argue the specific merits of each until the end of time. But it's hard to outright deny the fact that they did not at least help substantiate the playstyle on consoles. Eat Lead trails off on a completely different philosophy than Gears of War. Gears of War has a heavy sense of hyper-realism with its ultra-detailed, beautifully designed, ugly-ass characters and run-down locations. You are smack dab in the middle of a war fighting against creatures that no one can ever get straight where the hell they came from, and there is a large emphasis on immersion. Everything is designed as if it were some masterstroke in creating the perfect set piece of the last battle on Earth. The enemies are using their limited intelligence to the best of their abilities to outright destroy your squad as they think and act like a team. Eat Lead is very different. The budget is limited, and who really cares that much about background detail? Let's make fun of some generic video game conventions, but go ahead and use some of them anyway, at least to a degree, because who really gives a crap? The game essentially just dumps enemies at you and doesn't try to pretend like there's some genius math equation going on for the optimal number of baddies per location to reach the maximum amount of quantifiable fun. What? An open spot? Let's dump in some snow Russians and cowboys. We haven't used them in a while. The appeal is not in conquering the brilliant design set pieces, it's taking out rooms filled with random ass enemies put in by designers who were either high, jackasses, or both. Complaining that the AI sucks on these enemies is like complaining that the Goombas in Super Mario are pretty stupid. They're there to get in your way and give you something to kill with an overall much larger body count than the average game. It is supposed to be fun to kill tons of brain dead enemies against a ridiculous backdrop because diving behind cover, aiming, and then firing is enjoyable. Eat Lead harkens back to a day where game design favored the more simple and ridiculous over whatever felt most like war. Yes, Gears of War still has that great by gamers, for gamers feeling behind it, but the game still takes itself rather seriously behind its own established realm. So all in all, Eat Lead is a very fun game if you want to shoot random ass enemies with some decent, though not perfect controls for about 6 to 8 hours until you're done with the game. I'm all for try before you buy on this one, regardless of who you are, because even if the game does appeal to you, it's rather short if you aren't interested in replaying, because there's no endless multiplayer to freak out over. And really, Eat Lead does not absolutely reach each and every one of its ideals it strives for. Despite my poetic defense of it, it can still be rather repetitious. Overall, though, I did have some fun with it. I beat it within a few days of play, and I wouldn't mind revisiting it in a year or so from now. Eat Lead, The Return of Matt Hazard for the Xbox 360 receives a 7 out of 10.